I'm Allison Davis, coming to you live from GBTA Broadcast Studio in Toronto. I'm here today with Beverly Beuermann-King from Work Smart, Live Smart. Beverly, thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
Great to have you. So Beverly, you just led an education session here today on how to stop letting that difficult person ruin your day. What was the top takeaway that you hope attendees left with today?
I'm hoping that the top takeaway was that it's really important to understand why people are acting the way that they're acting. What is it that they're trying to get from being that particular way? And when we know that, then we can put in place some strategies that are going to be able to help them get what they need, but also be able to allow you to be able to move forward in that conversation.
So important in the travel industry today.
I'm sure that there's probably a few negative attitudes that come along at one point or another.
One or two. So how important do you think it is for travel industry professionals to have a strong understanding of how to handle difficult people or situations?
Well, I think, when it comes to difficult people, it can come in any part of our life, right? So whether we're dealing with colleagues or our supervisors, our team, our clients, even our family members. So having some good, solid communication skills allows us to be able to take those conversations, even when we're not feeling like we want to be in those conversations, but it allows us to be able to take those conversations and move them forward so that they become productive, so that we don't get stuck in that problem identification mode and we're able to move into that problem solving mode.
So is it all about communication?
It's about communication in a broad aspect. So how do we carry ourselves? How do we make that other person feel valued? How do we allow that person to be able to vent without getting frustrated ourselves? So it's all of that part for communication.
What do you see those scenarios being in the travel life cycle today? From the airport to the car to throughout your trip. What are some of those scenarios that you find people encounter?
Well, first of all, usually when we're traveling, we're rushed, we're stressed out, we're behind things, or we're tired out. So even when we're coming back, we're probably even more so because we're tired. All of those things contribute to us being impatient, and it contributes to us being not focused or not caring so much about the other person in the conversation. So those things can make communication or make problem solving really difficult. I think in any part of that, if we recognize that it's about stress, it's about people not being able to kind of think clearly, if we can help reduce that stress and move them forward, then we're going to be in a much better position to be able to handle those conversations.
Absolutely. So from your perspective, what are some tips you give people for recognizing and responding appropriately to these different situations and behaviors?
First one is understand why they're acting that way. What is it that they're trying to get? So is somebody stomp, screaming, shouting because they're feeling out of control or they're feeling powerless in the situation? If they are, then how do you give them back that control? And most of the time we don't want to give them control because we're trying to stand up for ourselves, but the better way would be to give them control by giving them options. Is it somebody who is trying to show you up in some way? They want to be above you. Why are they doing that? They're probably looking for recognition. So how can you recognize that person's time, their energy, their experience, the value that they bring, especially if it's a client, the fact that you value them as a client? How can you give them that recognition so then you can move those conversations forward? Is it because somebody is just negative? Are they just doom and gloom all over the place? And if that's the case, understanding that that's who they are, how could you take care of yourself in that conversation? Because more than likely, it's not about them, it's going to be about you. How do you put self-care in place?
Absolutely. Beverly, thank you so much for being here with us
welcome.
today. It was a pleasure. And once again, I'm Allison Davis, live from GBTA Broadcast Studio in Toronto. Thank you for joining us.